What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So today we got a massive set of patch notes for Black Ops 6 as well as Warzone. So just going over and just talking about pretty much everything going on here. There's a lot of things that you can skip because we've already covered them before. For example, the new Ladra SMG, we did get a new photo of it. This is what it looks like. And then they go on to talk about all the LTMs, the modes, and things like that that are going to be coming in. Now, as for the actual weapon balance changes and adjustments, it looks like they have made some changes to the Goblin MK2. So they're buffing it, as you see right here. For the Kilo, that one actually ended up receiving a slight nerf towards just the range. So just the color-coded area is where the changes really took. And then for the CR56 AMAX, same exact thing, but it was just the damage reduced by 1. The C9 ended up getting a pretty big buff in terms of the range, the damage for the medium damage range area, and then they also vertical recoil penalty has been reduced from 40% to 20%. And then the ASG, they said in Season 3 update, we made some changes to the ASG 89 to reduce cases where you accidentally queue an additional shot when spamming the trigger. They did rapid fire attachment adjustments, improved from 3 to 5%. And then for the LMGs, so it says right here, adjustments, pre-fire delay is 20 milliseconds unchanged. And then the fast mag one now reduces pre-fire delay to 10 seconds or 10 milliseconds, 50% reduction. XMG, similar type of things that they've done here as well for all of them. And then for the marksman rifles, they said the Grau conversion kit has been performing significantly ahead of other weapons in multiplayer. So I'm guessing here they wanted to nerf it. So from 28 damage, they have reduced it to 24 damage. The Sarkov, like the ASG 89, rapid fire caught unintended nerf on the Sarkov 762. So they have now pretty much improved it. And then the TR2 view kick strength improved significantly. For the HDR, they said a lot of player feedback has come in regards to it feeling weaker in terms of multiplayer, as with like the Season 3 weapons. And our primary goal was to be as true to the original feel of the HDR as possible. So what they did is they reduced the range, although they increased the damage, and the minimum damage range has been reduced from 99 to 95. By the way, these are just the multiplayer ones that we have here. Warzone did get a completely different set of changes as well. And then for multiplayer, so they addressed a lot of issues. These are all like pretty much just bugs that they went over and covered. Like you can feel free to pause the video, but it's just, yeah, it's just mainly bug fixes, and I don't want to waste your time reading every single one of these. I'll also have the blog post down in the description if you want to go ahead and check it out for yourself. But yeah, so it's like just random bug things like that. But for zombies, there's a couple of changes that were important. So for example, increase rewards from the fog rolling and Easter egg, so you'll actually get rewarded for this now. And then they fixed some things like visual bugs, updated the UI, addressed other issues, same exact thing. So the majority of all of this is just addressing different issues that are currently going on with the game at the moment, or at least were going on, and then they fixed it and reloaded. Now, some other things, so they added the base version of the ray gun to all mystery boxes. That's like a new feature that they added within the update. And then the most important thing here, it says for the gobble gums, so reduce gobble gum machine cooldowns from 5 minutes to 10 seconds. So for those of you guys who do speedruns, this is a very big W. And then they also sped up the gobble gum machine activation sequence, so you can retrieve your gobble gums within 2 seconds. And then the rest of the changes addressed an issue where reloading and just audio, things like that. So that's pretty much everything that went down in terms of the multiplayer and zombie side of things. Now, jumping into the Warzone patch notes, these are a little bit more detailed. So they talked about the new modes that are coming in. So for example, high trip resurgence, a limited time mode. They also talked about massive resurgence. This is also going to be a limited time mode. And then the playlist. So this is what they give us from May 1st until the 15th. So battle royale, solos, duos, quads on Verdansk, resurgence and solos, duos, trios, and quads on Rebirth Island, plunder and quads on Verdansk, ring play trios on Verdansk, so it looks like ring play will be available within the first day, probably a couple hours later. And then the high trip resurgence mode, also available on the first day of the update, is going to be available for Verdansk, and then battle royale casual as usual in quads of Verdansk. And then they talked a little bit about ring play, so they're introducing or reintroducing the ranked season in this patch, and there's a number of different changes that they've made. So 150 players, which is different from the last time that we saw that. New SR values to maintain the overall pacing and progression of ring play. We've tuned the SR values to better reflect larger map and Season 3's changes. This is so here's pretty much everything that they did. So unlocking ranked play. First, if you want to actually play ranked play, you're going to need to place top in at least 20 matches. And what that means is place top 6 in Resurgence or top 15 in Battle Royale 20 different times. And then it says Battle Royale Casual or Boot Camp does not progress. So if you want to be eligible, you need to do these first before you can actually start playing. Now, for the basic overview, the Verdansk Battle Royale, it's going to be in trios, 150 players. Here are the restrictions. All Modern Warfare weapons are going to be restricted. All Black Ops 6 weapons, it's only the blade launcher restricted for that one. And then the attachment restrictions, thermal optics, all of them restricted. Underbarrel launchers, the drill charge launcher, high explosive launcher, and the standard launcher, all completely removed. Barrels, CHF barrel removed. Fire mods, rapid fire, Dragon's Breath, and then Goblin MK2, the mini rocket conversion that's going to be coming in. Other restrictions, Bird's Eye and Specialist perks, wild cards, Bandolier, loot items, ammo satchel, and then the vehicles, cargo truck contracts, big game bounty, which is going to be introduced in this update as well, and then miscellaneous. So shoot during free fall, train recon contract, proximity chat, text to chat, emotes, high value loot zones, Gulag rocks, and then live pings all disabled. And then they said other gameplay adjustments. The starting circle is going to be more centered, enabling more play space on drop, but extreme circle ends can still occur. Trophy system is added to the buy station inventory to enable a more protected vehicle rotation. Here's additional information. So you have bronze starting rank, and then silver is at 900, gold 2100, platinum 36, and then so forth. So this is what the placement is looking like here. And then the placement, so 0, 10 points, 20 points at top 20, 30 points top 15, top 10 is 50 points, top 5 60, first is 100, and then the bonus SR eliminations on depending on the placements of when you get these eliminations. Now these are the rewards that they have provided, and they are not that good, I'm not gonna lie. So the only thing pretty good here is the camo, which you get at 100 eliminations, but then you also have some weapon blueprints, which is only one of them. You have a charm, and then you have a sticker, but this is what a lot of people are very upset about. So you have emblems and then sprays. So depending on the rank that you place, you will end up getting an emblem. People wanted to see more camos, people wanted to see operators. I believe operators are still going to be available because they mention it right here. Once you get the top placement 10, you get the Warzone ranked competitor operator skin, and then you also get things like loading screen, sprays, the weapon charm, spray, and then weapon camo. But the rewards could have been a little bit better in my opinion. And then see right here, the rank play operator. So you get the gold one, the platinum, diamond, crimson, and iridescent operators, and then it automatically is unlocked as soon as you hit that rank. And then they said the season 1 rewards, these are all the rewards, stickers, blueprints, and all of that stuff that I pretty much just showcased in that image. And then for the loot and economy, so they updated ground loot weapons. Ground loot weapons have been revised to better align with each weapon's core role, removing incompatible or underperforming attachments. Certain weapon builds have been added or removed from the loot pool to improve overall variety and balance. And then high value loot zones. Each season 3 POIs across Verdansk will be designed as high value loot zones, offering increased loot density. For Season 3 Reloaded, the active high-value loot zones are train station, superstore, and military base. Now going to the movement changes here, the speed wall plating, movement speed while inserting armor plates has been standardized. Whether using the normal animation or the one-handed animation granted by Quick Fix, your movement speed will now align with the weapon you had equipped when you began plating. And then for the equipment adjustment, so everything here that I didn't highlight is going to be a buff. So drill charge, the explosive radius increased from 3 to 5 meters, inner explosive damage increase, and then the C4 also got a big buff. The middle to inner explosion radius increased from 3 to 5 meters, inner explosive damage increased from 225 to 250, middle from 112 to 180. So yeah, and then the spring mine got a nerf, so inner explosion damage reduced from 275 to 250. Blast trap increased the detonation delay, so it's just the timing of it from 0.75 to 1. Tactical, the stim shot actually got a nerf, so it says speed increase reduced from 15% down to 8%. Experimental gas no longer deals tick damage. And then as for the contracts, these are just the returning ones. So you got big game contract and then or bounty, and then adjustments, supply run contract. Squad mates who are dead at the time a supply run is completed will now also receive the fire sale reward. Now as for the kill streak, same exact thing. The sentry ended up receiving a buff, increased the range from 50 meters to 100, so doubled. As for the bunker buster, explosive inner damage has been reduced from 300 to 290, so a nerf, and then remove damage from the gas, which we used to be able to tick. And then UAV, audible callouts on activation of a UAV for enemies has been tightened up. And then for the perks, so low profile ended up getting a buff. Prone and crouch movement speed increased from 20 to 30. Bomb Squad damage reduction increased from 20 to 30. Survivor ended up getting a nerf, so health regen delays increased from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Reactive armor regeneration speed increased by 50%, and then tracker outlines have been refined with thinner lines to improve visual clarities. And then it just tells you the new stuff like that. And then we have the weapon adjustment. So the AK-74 headshot multiplier reduced from 1.2 to 1.12, lower torso multiplier reduced from 0.95 to 0.9. So it just overall it's probably the biggest nerf that we have here within this update. That's why I highlighted it. The CR56 AMAX and the Kilo actually got a slight buff in terms of the reload speed. So 15% boost to make it reload a little bit faster. And then the flip mag has gotten an extra 5 bullets or 5 rounds in it. And same thing with the Kilo. And then the Bout 27, it ended up getting a buff. So a lot of the MW2 and MW3 weapons saw a buff here, and those could potentially be a part of the meta. So damage increase, range has been slightly reduced on here. And then for the Holger 556, damage has been increased here, the range reduced, and then the damage here increased. So overall, it's like a balanced type of fix. And then M4, overall, everything got buffed. So the damage increased from 27 to 32, from 24 to 27, from 20 to 25, and then all the ranges have been increased. So it looks like this could potentially be a really good weapon. And then the TAC 56, same exact thing. From 31 all the way to 39, range from 35 to 38, and then same exact thing for the medium range one, and then the minimum damage range. So pretty big buffs there. The C9 vertical recoil penalty reduced from 40 to 20%, so that was a buff. The SOG drop time improved from 0.5 to 0.3. HR M9 also saw a buff, so damage has been increased, and then the range has been reduced, but the damage has still been increased. So a good SMG. And then the WSP9, same thing, except the range has also been increased in terms of right here, the maximum damage range, and then the medium damage range one. MX9, same thing. Then we have the PDSW, same thing, except the range has been reduced. And then for the ASG, rapid fire rate of fire improvement increased from 3% to 5%. The Marine SP ended up getting damage buffs all across. Lockwood 680, range is 1.8 meters, and then yeah, that it just went up in terms of range a little bit. And then for the LMG, so the Fang 82 fast mag now reduced pre-fire delay to 19 milliseconds, 25% reduction. PU fast mag now reduces pre-fire delay, same exact thing. XMG, they did the same exact thing to pretty much all of the different LMGs here in this category. And then the TAC Eradicator ended up seeing a damage improvement and a range improvement. The Raw, damage reduced, but the or range reduced, and then the damage has been increased. And then the Sakin, the damage has been increased, the range has been reduced. And then for the marksman rifles, everything increased. So from 44 all the way up to 50, range increased, damage here, and then a range for the minimum range as well. And then additional adjustments such as bullet velocity decreased, headshot multiplier increase, lower torso multiplier decrease, and then the DM10 range increase, bullet velocity, same thing, ADS speeds improved, SWAT 556 range and damage increase, and then the rapid fire damage range penalty has been reduced, so overall buff for this as well. TR2, the damage has been decreased from 62 to 59, but then the minimum damage range has been increased, so overall like an equaled out sort of thing. And then the Sarkov 762, everything here has been increased. The HDR also saw a nerf, but not as big as what I thought it was going to be. So the aim down sight speed slowed from 510 to 600, so it takes a little bit more time to scope in, but it's still one shot and it's still pretty overpowered from what I'm seeing here. FJX Imperium ended up getting buffed a little bit. Cali Sticks drop time improved from 0.83 to 0.25. And yeah, and then they did like the Gulag loadout adjustment. So if you just want to know what the potential loadouts are for the circles, this is what they are. And then default loadout adjustments as well, which yeah. And then the most important thing in my opinion here is the operators. So favoriting operators, that is a new feature that is back in Warzone only. So players can mark operators as favorites. There is a cap on the number of operators that can be marked. Players will receive a notification upon reaching this limit. Random operator selection as well, so you can play as a different operator every game. Players can now enable a random operator option, allowing the game to select a different operator each time you load in. If favorites are set, players have the option to randomize exclusively among their favorites. Players can select up to a maximum of 20 operators to randomize from. And then random skin selection. Within each operator's customization menu, players can enable the random skin option. Each time an operator is selected, a different owned skin will be applied. If favorite skins are set, the random selection will be limited to those. Players can select up to 10 skins to randomize from a single operator. And then UI, they did some quality of life, loadout marker icon, damage closes by station menu setting, kill feed duration setting, and then adjustments to attachment filter for Modern Warfare weapons, death recap widget. They've added these like heartbeat sensor, affected by body shield, affected by resurgence marker, by prox alarm, and most wanted. So it'll let you know exactly what they spotted you with and how you died, and then grenade notifications and things like that. New vehicle coming in. They did some adjustments to the heli, and then heli passengers view angles, some audio updates to vehicles, and then just random bug fixes and things like that they went ahead and implemented. So I'll have the blog post down in the description if you guys want to read everything in full detail, but that's pretty much all they got for you guys in this. So thank you for tuning in, and hopefully I'll be seeing you guys back on the channel again. Peace.